and this is my channel, Bar911-970. Hopefully you guys are doing well. I'm going to put this camera down so we don't have any issues. Hopefully you guys are doing well. It's been a while since I've been doing videos because basically I've said everything I pretty much need to say in the past 10 years of being on this channel. So what I find funny is the stuff that's going on right now in the world. If I would have said this is what's going to happen, let's say 5 years ago, people would have said I was insane, a crazy conspiracy theorist, and all that other fun stuff. I mean, I'm used to that at this point. People have been saying that to me since I started my original channel, Bar911-967, back in 2010, which I deleted and then changed it to Bar911-970. I've been trying to warn people about what's going on, and you can see right now, it hasn't been official yet, but they're already going in this direction, where they are going to do mandatory, and I won't say what it is, but you know, injections for your health. Because obviously if you say anything right now, freedom of speech, they're going to block you, they're going to ghost ban you. I mean, they've ghost banned me so much I don't even care anymore. But I have to ask people, are they really doing it for your benefits? Are they really doing it because they care about your well-being? Because they allow junk food to be sold, they allow chemicals in your food and water that's FDA approved. They have, I mean, when are they going to make it where it is mandatory to take vitamins? Mandatory to get a drug and alcohol test anytime you leave your house? I mean, where do we draw the line with our freedoms? And I've said over the years, you cannot fight fire with fire. These are emotional creatures that are in charge of all of us. They love the attention that they get because, as they say in the news, there is no bad press. And the way to defeat evil is by not becoming evil yourself. We should know after thousands and thousands of years of fighting one another that it hasn't brought us anywhere closer to anything positive. The way that you have to change your life, if you cannot change anybody else's, you have to focus on yourself. The only way you will change your life is if you hit them with your pocketbook. And it's by not complying. Too many people in this world are basically saying, well, it's convenient, it's easier, I don't have to deal with it. And if you notice, each time they take a little bit more of your freedoms. And anyone that tells you that you have to put something in your body, which, by the way, there are vaccine companies that are making billions of dollars now off of the fear of the people. And Fauci should be in jail. I mean, we do need justice. I don't believe that anybody should get the death penalty, because then you're just fighting evil with evil. You know, if you kill a murderer, you're a murderer. Doesn't matter how you justify it. And the problem with a lot of things in this world is people like to justify things to fit their personal agendas. And that's the problem with this world. There is no harmony. There is no unity. But you can live your life. When I was in New York, I had near the end before I moved, or before I decided to move, I was about to have my house taken away. I lost all my jobs. I had about $300 in my bank account and had to find somewhere to move. I didn't worry. I didn't sit in fear. I said, I'm going to make this happen, and I made it happen. Sold some of my collections and my investments, had enough money to not only move us down to an area where I didn't even know where we were going. I had to find a location. I found a house sight unseen, which for the money I spent is probably one of the best deals I've seen around here. You have to make things happen yourself. Even the weather I don't take seriously anymore, because their job is to scare you into buying things. And if you know about how things really work, Your mind and your heart control more of your reality than you will ever imagine. I mean, you just have to look at movies and music and books and people saying these things since basically the 60s. This is not something that is uncommon, but unfortunately, because it doesn't seem normal, people think it's crazy conspiracy theory stuff. I'm telling you, don't believe in things. Or don't disbelieve in things, because whether you believe in something or don't believe in something, you don't know. And the world manipulates you through your belief system by telling you things that sound good for you, by justifying things to make something that's criminal okay. Like murdering somebody who's a murderer is not justified. If you want to live in a world of harmony and peace and love, you can't have it. But they'll justify it to make it sound good. And I can understand, with all the cruel things in the world and all the cruel people in the world, I can understand, or like what I've always said, understand, why people want to feel that way. But all it is evil winning out by turning you evil. It's like if you ever saw or read the comic Injustice, where the Joker basically corrupts Superman into becoming evil. And he tries to watch over the world in his way of protecting, because he was wronged. He didn't like the feeling. He lost someone he loved, murders the Joker, and it's a void you will never fill. So in Superman's mind, he thought he was doing the right thing. I'm going to protect the earth so things like this never happen again. But he became a dictator. He became corrupt. He had no problem with murdering people that he once called his allies and friends. And what did they view him as? They viewed him as the enemy. It's all about perception, and it's all about doing the right thing. If you're not willing to do the right thing, then how can you say you're any better than the people that are doing the evil things they're doing right now? So they're going to try and make these injections mandatory. Now, I live in a state where I really don't think I have to be concerned, but I also, years ago, made a choice that I wasn't going to work for myself. I mean, I wasn't going to work for somebody else. I was going to work for myself. So I don't have to worry about going into a job where they say, well, there's 100 people in here, so you have to get this shot. I mean, just look at what's going on with the politicians. When the cameras are off, they're all huddled together, no mask on. As soon as the camera's on, they have a mask on. So let me ask you this. How deadly can this situation be if they only put their masks on in front of the camera? It's almost like they're putting on a show, and many people believe it. And when you believe something, they are influencing your reality, which you have the power to change at any moment. You're Dorothy. You have the power to go home all along. You can accept everything around as the truth and create your own reality and have someone else influence your truth to make it your truth, or you could say no more. So here I am, a person who's almost died about at least a dozen or more times from breathing problems since I was an infant. I'm over 50 years old, so I'm in that quote-unquote danger zone. I have not worn a mask this entire time. I'm surrounded by people constantly. I've actually been healthier in the past 2 years than I have almost my entire life. I might have been one of the first people to get the 19 virus back in November of 2019, because normally when I have my asthma attacks to the point where I need a hospital visit, they know what it is and they can fix it. But that was the first time in my 50 years, well, 48 at the time, where they had no idea what I had, and yet I survived. And if you don't believe me, go on my other YouTube channel, We Love Comics, go back to approximately November of 2019, and I have a video of me in the hospital. I had to be carried out for the first time in my entire life by an ambulance because I was going to die on my floor in the bathroom. And yet I survived. So shouldn't I be afraid of what's going on? I don't even worry about the fact that I live in Florida and they talk about hurricanes all the time. Do you know, ironically, there have been more hurricanes that have hit New York, where I used to live, than in this current place in Florida that I currently live for the past 2 years. The idea is to let go of the fear and stop letting other people dictate how your choice of reality works. Many people are not going to understand this. They're not going to comprehend it. They're not going to take it seriously. They're going to avoid it. They're going to laugh at it. They're going to make fun of it. And that will be their truth. And then they're still going to be miserable. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not living the life of luxury. I have struggles just like you. I only work 3 times a week, but I make enough to get by. And the situations are there. I have debts that I got to pay. But they will get taken care of. I don't live in fear, and I promise you, if you don't live in fear and you stop with the I can't do it, or it's too hard, or there's no way, well, if you have that belief system, the universe is going to confirm what you believe, even if it's not what you want. So if you say, oh, well, I can't change my job because I have a family, I have responsibility, I have this, I have that, well, you're not going to. So you're making it true. You can't do it. So what a surprise, the universe gives you exactly what you want, even though it's technically not what you want. I am never going to get that injection. It is never going to come to my life in any way where I'm going to need to do it. You got to think the same way. You have to take control of your life. And how many years have I been making videos where I tell people there are certain ways, if you want life to work in your advantage, where you're not forced to have something you don't want. Because listen, if you want to get a vaccine, you have every right. If you want to put something in your body, like if you want to drink like Jack Daniels every night, if you want to eat donuts for breakfast, you have that right to do that. But no one should ever force you to do something, because if the government supposedly cared, why aren't they forcing people to eat nothing but fruits and vegetables? Drink nothing but water that's fluoride free? Why are they allowing the sale of cigarettes and alcohol and chemicals in your food? Things like saccharin that they know causes cancer, and many other ingredients that they approve. How many medicines over the decades have been discontinued because they were to be found years later, and sometimes decades later, that side effects are worse than what they were trying to treat you with? Because they do not cure anyone, they treat you. Because you cannot make money off of somebody who is self-sufficient. They don't tell you to go outside and get sunshine and get fresh air. They want you to be scared, huddled in your house. They want families divided. I don't speak to half my family anymore, and it's not because I don't want to speak to them. It's because they've become so indoctrinated and their belief system is so set on fear that they basically, you cannot speak to them anymore. So they most likely will make that vaccine mandatory, because they only do a little bit at a time. People will argue, people will complain, but they'll comply. My thing is, you have control of your life, you have control of your destiny, unless you believe you don't. If you think others have control of you, guess what? They succeed in tricking you to believe, to give your power over to somebody else. Just pretend for a moment you're God. You have infinite power to do anything you want. But you allow the devil to convince you you don't have that power. And he's very convincing. And you believe the lies, or you believe his version of truth. Well, what happens? You give away your power and you no longer have it. And then the devil says, well, see, I told you I was right. You give away your power. Don't do it. Unless you are trying to learn something from giving away your power. Because you can always learn something from whatever you are doing in this world. And you could be afraid if you want. You could be filled with fear. You could be filled with hate and anger and revenge, and wonder why you're not ever going to be enlightened. That stuff is heavy. It weighs you down. Don't let somebody justify a negative reaction to justify what you want to do to someone else, because then you are no better than them. I spend my days planting fruit trees, like banana trees and lemon trees, lime trees, taking care of them every day. I take care of 13 stray cats. I feed them 3 times a day. Actually, 15 stray cats, to include the ones inside. I'm putting purpose and meaning behind my life. I have an amazing wife that I love, who's not perfect, but neither am I. But we are good together and we help one another. You can do anything you want, including doing nothing, or including feeling sorry for yourself, or including filling yourself full of doubt. But if you don't want the way the world is treating you to treat you the way you don't want, then what are you doing to fix it? Are you becoming just as evil as they are? Are you filled with anger and fear? Well, how is that a motivator? You don't worry about breathing. You don't worry about your heart rate every second, do you? And yet it happens no matter what you think about it. If you handle the rest of your world in that way, you'll be amazed at the way things will change. And it may not change instantly. Maybe it's got to test you to see if you're full of you. So if you want to get a vaccine, by all means, please get it. But you shouldn't ever allow someone else to force you to do something, no matter what purpose. Because here's the little thing that you could tell anybody out there in this world. No matter what you do, no matter how healthy you are, no matter how much you run and hide, no matter how many good exercises and good pieces of food you take, no matter how much you meditate, no matter how much you prepare any kind of situation that could potentially be dangerous or deadly, one day you will close your eyes for the last time and no longer be a part of this particular dimension. Are you living? Ask the people that are crazy about what's going on in the world. Ask them, are they living? Are they happy? Do something to make your life happy. Do something to make your life different from the way it is if you do not like it. Because if you sit there and complain while somebody's punching you and they don't want to stop punching you, they will forever punch you. Complaining about it, holding up a sign, making a video, posting a meme, doing all those things is not going to stop it. Sometimes evil is just evil, because whether you ever want to believe it or not, and I leave it up to you for that, there are entities in this universe that their food source is negative energy. You ever wonder why the world is really gone bat you-know-what crazy to the point where it's just not logical anymore? You have to think, are these politicians and the news people and the people in Hollywood and the people in the education system, are they all stupid? Or is there something more to it, but because it may seem fantastic or different, you just want to dismiss it? You cannot dismiss anything in an infinite universe. You can, but it's not going to change what is, because if there's an infinite universe, that means there are infinite possibilities, which means the most craziest thing you can think of is somewhere a reality. Look at my time on YouTube. Go look at the beginnings of this channel. Like I said, I deleted the first one, unfortunately. There was a lot of good stuff on there, but, you know, I was at a different place then. Look at my videos. Look how consistent I have been over the years. I've been on YouTube since 2010, so over a decade. You don't have to have millions of dollars to be wealthy. You don't have to have 5,000 friends to be successful. You don't have to have everything go your way to be happy. You make your life as you want it to be. Complaining about it, wishing about it, saying I'm going to do it tomorrow, justifying why you're doing something or why you're not doing something. The only person in the long run you hurt is yourself. Was there from the Corey C days. Oh yeah, so you're going back. So yeah, you probably remember my Barn on 11967 channel. Haven't heard from him in a long time. Hope he's doing well. So I'm going to start growing my own food. The banana tree will probably be ripe next year. I have an orange tree, a lemon tree, a lime tree. I'm not perfect, but I don't need to be. My life is about trying to erase all fear. I don't listen to the news anymore. And if I see some clip about the news, I just view it as I'm watching any other TV show. Don't let what anybody else does or says influence you, no matter how real you think it might sound. Go watch, here's a homework assignment. Go watch the movie Labyrinth. And watch how the girl defeats the enemy at the end. If you haven't seen it, I won't spoil it. But you have a homework assignment. Go watch the movie Labyrinth. And watch how the heroine, and not the drug, but, you know, a hero, heroine, defeats the enemy. No guns, no explosions, no murder, no nothing. And you'll see there is more to life than just physical, because there is no such thing as physical. See these two hands? You know why they do not pass through each other? Because these molecules in this hand and these molecules in this hand are in the same density and cannot go through to each other. But if you brought this down to a microscopic level and then take it 1,000,000 times past that, you would not even know these hands existed. They would be so far apart. It's all about relativity and size. Everything is energy. The problem is people have been conditioned to believe, and I keep telling people about a belief system, write the word believe and you'll notice the word lie straight in the middle. You can believe whatever you want, but don't be shocked if the things that somebody else is influencing you to believe is creating the reality that you don't want. But the ironic part is they're not creating it. You are. They're just influencing you, whispering in your ear. Go watch the video I did about the whisperers. But I have to go. Ladies and gentlemen, please give this a thumbs up. Thank you so much for checking this out. Love you all. Peace to you all. Remember, you create your own reality. If you don't believe you can, you are going to make that true. So why not give it another shot if your current life is not bringing you where you need to be? Thanks for watching. Thank you to the 26 people that hit the thumbs up button. And I'll talk to you next time I make a video. May not be very often, but I want quality over quantity. And if you think something I said in here helped you in any way, please take a moment to like it, share it, and post a comment and let me know. I may not always respond anymore, but I definitely read them. Have a great night, everybody, and create your own universe. Don't let anybody else change your script. Peace out, everybody.